Okay, I'm back. You didn't know I left, but I just did my first like future YouTube video and I guess I erased it. So I'm gonna do what I did before again because I really liked what I said. So it's me, Kennedy, and I have a lot to say and I said a lot beautifully, but I'm gonna say it again. So here's where I'm at today. Just got my nails done. Andy, wonderful gal named Angie. Of course, they changed their names so we Americans could pronounce them correctly. And one of the conversations we had was basically manners. Like, I got my nails done at this salon 6 weeks ago, and this wonderful woman from Vietnam, I believe, named Kate, American name, did a great job on my nails. And then this woman had to wait a whopping 10 minutes because Kate's really thorough and does a great job, and was complaining on the phone like out loud for everybody to hear. And I just thought that's so appalling. So when I was requesting Kate again, they said, oh, we're sorry, but Kate left because 3 women were so mean to her the day you were here that she just had to leave. And I thought that's just appalling because all the women that I heard were mean to her were over the age of 50, and there's just no excuse for that. I mean, and I hope they're not from my neighborhood because I live in a retirement community, which I'm going to show you really quickly here. I did this. This is probably where I screwed it up. I'm not going to show you my retirement community today because that's where I think I turned off the video when I was rambling. So I'll learn how to do that better. But here's my thoughts, especially for people that don't have English as their first language. I am so sorry on behalf of all Americans that might be rude to you, because I doubt they've lived in another country where they had to struggle to learn another language. And I lived in South America and taught there for 2 years, and I was so impressed with how kind people were to me as I was using my high school Spanish, teaching in a private school. Thankfully, I taught in English. That's what they wanted. But when I wasn't at school, out and about, taxi drivers were sweet to me. People in bars were sweet to me when we were dancing, you know, when my friends and I would all go dancing and, you know, rip up Cartagena, Colombia. People were kind to us as we were learning Spanish. And I'm happy that kindergarten's starting to teach Spanish here, and I wish we'd teach more languages before the age of 12. I teach in a middle school, and that's when most of our kids here finally start to learn a second language. So I'm going to switch my radio station. Normally I have it on the 70s, which my daughter, who's 19, she just goes, Mom, you've been listening to these songs for 40 years. Are you not tired of them yet? I'm like, well, I do flip over to 90s sometimes. Weird, huh? On the topic of music, the reason I'm on this camera right now is a very kind man I have just met who's a music man. I met him when he was performing, and we're starting to sing together. We're doing a lot of songs from the 70s because it's what is in my heart, and he's older too. And so actually, okay, now this is just a little too cheesy right now. I'm gonna go back to 80s now, which talk about the era of cheesy music, although there was some good stuff that we have today. Okay, we'll live with that. So we've started to practice together, and one of the things that is fascinating to me is where people in different phases of life. I had a radio show about dating and online dating, which I've never done, and I'd really rather not because I hear so many nightmare stories, some successes, but more failures. And I just meet people in interesting places. So when I was with a gay friend of mine from Seattle who was having a very bad night, we had gone to this Italian restaurant where I met Anda. That's my nickname for him. I have nicknames for a lot of people. And I hope I don't wreck my car as I'm doing this, because I have at least a fender bender every 3 months. And maybe if I continue to do these channel things from my car, you'll get to experience a fender bender with me. It's always really interesting. Great way to meet people also, by the way. My last fender bender, oh, we might have one right now. If only I knew how to run my camera in reverse so you could see this. No, they went around. Thank you. Yeah, I met a really nice teacher who initially was kind of not so nice. But the irony of my last fender bender, and I'm sure you've all had one, was I was waving to the one nice person in Dallas that day who let me in. And as I'm waving to the nice person, because the other person wasn't nice and wasn't letting me into the traffic line, I hit the not nice person waving to the nice person. Not nice person turned out to be a fellow school teacher who was not looking forward to work that day. And we were both headed to work, and we ended up hugging at a Starbucks when I paid her in cash, because one of my exes actually gave me cash to help pay this person off so it wouldn't go on my insurance, because I didn't have $850 for a fender bender. I still have a huge crack in the front of my Kia Soul. If you're not a good driver, don't bother to get a good car, because unless you can really afford great insurance, it's not worth it. So I figure I'm 57 now. By the time I'm 80, I'll probably still be driving this car because I'm a school teacher. It'll just be so wrecked up. It'll be like people will see me coming and they'll run, which will be great because then I won't have as many fender benders. But anyway, yeah, it's just good to stay friends with people that, even if it didn't work out in a relationship, because when I told this ex of mine how sad I was that happened on the way to work, you know, and that my insurance was going to go up, he's like, no, that would be stupid. Let me just give you the cash to pay her out of pocket, which was so thoughtful. So I go to Starbucks, pay off this teacher. We're hugging. We're talking about how hellacious our days can be as teachers. And anyway, so when I did this video earlier and didn't save it apparently because I flipped my camera around too much and pushed the wrong button, I was talking about dating. And this dear musician, Anda, that I've started to hang out with, is a recent widow. Well, not super recent, but less than a year. And those of you that are older like me know about the black armbands, where when someone dies, if they're a spouse or, you know, someone really close to you, family member, you wear a black armband for the year and you stay in mourning. And I believe the Jewish traditions are really kind of cool about it, like really honoring to the person that died. There's kind of a reason for the black armbands. I was going to stay in my safe little neighborhood as I do this, and somehow I've ended up on King Street that I've never seen before. Oh, it's a country road, and they are the worst in Texas. Oh my gosh, I think probably 90% of fatalities happen on these little country roads. I'm going to get off this thing as soon as I can. Yep, looking at farms, not good. Someone's about to tailgate me. So, Music Man is a widow, and we met when he was singing, as I said, and we exchanged business cards in front of my gay friend, who, as Anda walked away, said that Anda was hitting on him. I'm like, no, actually, no, he wasn't. I think I know hetero because I am, and no. But long and short, we got in touch, and I think we went to a movie for the first time we went out. We've seen each other quite a bit over the past 3 weeks. And apparently this is kind of a thing, because I have a girlfriend who's a widow, and women, when they become a widow, typically don't date for a long, long time, if at all, and just stay single. And I'm in a retirement neighborhood of many widows, all of which the single ones are females. The male widows are married again and got married very quickly, which can either be great or a disaster, and I don't want to be on the disaster storyline on this. So Anda is just awesome, and we're spending time singing. I'm now at a road closed. How do I do this to myself? And I don't want to run my GPS because I'm trying to talk to you guys. He's wanting to be very like intense, and that's awesome. It's such a compliment. However, I'm not quite there. I've been divorced 3 times. My daughter's 19 in college, and I'm really pleased that I finally have my own little house she can come to, not have to worry about anybody else being there but me. And there's just something that's sacred about that space to me right now. Although I love companionship, and it isn't that I wouldn't want to be in a serious relationship. Serious is such a cliche word, but you know, a super tight bond with somebody, but it's like fitting Rubik Cube sides. Like, there's so many dynamics. Case in point, Anda works like really hard. He appreciates it as a musician. He can do shorter hours, but you know, it's intense and all that. But he only has Mondays off, and I'm a teacher, and it's summer right now, so I have a little more time. But I like to go out dancing on the weekends when I teach and during the summer, and he's working on weekend nights, and so that's just kind of been a thing that's been on my mind. I'm now behind some utility building, and I'm just going to go back down that country road and hope I don't die or get lost, because I'm not even sure I can find the country road at this point. Okay, so he has been more intense relationally. And I guess because men are just so different, and especially like widows are so different from female widows and all that. But we're having a really nice musical experience, practicing songs. I'm going to sing a couple songs when he's performing, but Monday is sacred because it's his only day off, and you can't really go dancing on Monday night in Dallas. So we decided we'd meet at his house and merge our dogs. Now I as a divorced woman, I actually had to break an engagement for so many reasons on both our parts, and we're still dear friends. That leads to why it's good to stay friends with your exes, which will be my next blog show thing. But at this point, we had to merge dogs on Monday, Onda and I, and it didn't go so well. And I was thinking, wow, I broke an engagement for blended kids, not working out so well. Oh, I'm gonna go back to that same country road. Well, at least I'm not super lost, only semi-lost. So kind of a disaster. It was very stressful. The dogs weren't getting along, and then one of his dogs got excited and jumped up and scratched me. And when you get older, your skin doesn't heal as fast. And so now for summer in my cute little sundresses, when I go off to Seattle next week, I have big gashes on my back, and I'm just like, this is like crazy. And he felt terrible, and I felt bad that I was upset about that, but I was like, why don't you train your dog? And it's just like dating. Oh my gosh, is this all worth it for whatever the end game is of sexual intimacy, which isn't always the best idea, like definitely not quickly. And I'm a Christian, and I really want things to be right, and commitment, and we're semi-engaged because he told his friends that met me at one of the places he sings that I'm that special to him. So he gave me this beautiful ring from Mexico, and that he got before he got married 24 years ago. And he was married for 24 years. So this is like a big deal that he's trusting being around another female that he doesn't know that well. But we're just slowly getting to know each other. And he gave me this wonderful setup here so I can do these video things I've talked about, because I used to have a radio show, and then I got divorced and moved back to Seattle, and long story short, I don't have a radio show anymore, but I really enjoyed it. Talked about abuse issues, why not to get married, why maybe online dating is not the best way to meet people, just kind of quirky. And I'm a teacher now again, teaching broadcasting, and so there's just a lot of topics that we all need to bounce around. And I really wish I'd kept my first video successfully, but I got some things out there. I'm practicing, and I see I've talked for 12 minutes, which if I looked at my camera before to see if it was really rolling, I would have caught that. But I'm glad you listened. Thank you if you hung in there. And once I figure out this, I'm really lost. I'm in a Valero I've never seen in my life. I'm just gonna keep driving. I appreciate you tuning in, and next blog YouTube channel, I want to talk about why all my exes live in Texas and why it's good to stay friends with them. I kind of alluded to one story already with my car wreck, but I have a lot more thoughts on that for all ages. Why you never want to burn a bridge with any ex, even if it was a short-term ex, especially in a big city like Dallas. Alrighty, I will catch you later. Bye.